Episode 48. A life that was edited. The email is gone. Not deleted. Not archived. Gone in a way that leaves no absence behind. Isha notices because her body reacts before her mind understands why. A tightening in her chest. A sudden, irrational certainty that something important has just been fixed without her consent. She refreshes her inbox again. Nothing. The subject line that had been sitting there all morning, bold and unread, has vanished as if it never existed. Notice of termination. Her pulse slows. Relief washes through her with embarrassing force. Her shoulders drop. Her breathing evens out. The crisis that had been building for weeks dissolves in a single, clean moment. She laughs softly, alone in her apartment. It worked. She does not ask how. That is the mistake. An hour ago, she had been standing in the kitchen, staring at the screen, calculating consequences. Rent, health insurance, reputation, the fragile narrative of her career collapsing because of one error she could not undo. She remembers thinking very clearly, I can't survive this right now. She does not remember asking for help, but she remembers the feeling that followed. Alignment, the subtle shift behind the eyes, the sensation of a system rebalancing itself around her. Now the problem is gone. No email, no follow-up, no message from HR. She checks her work portal. Her access remains active. Her calendar is intact. The meeting that was supposed to explain everything has disappeared, replaced by a routine check-in scheduled next week. Isha exhales. Time has corrected the mistake. She goes outside for coffee, sunlight warming her face, the city feeling unusually cooperative. Traffic lights turn green at the right moments. Lines move quickly. Her order is ready before she finishes paying. The world feels smoother, edited. At work, no one treats her differently. Her manager chats casually about an upcoming project. A colleague jokes about deadlines. No one mentions performance reviews or restructuring or the meeting that was supposed to happen today. It is as if the crisis never existed. Isha settles into her desk, fingers moving easily over the keyboard. The relief is intoxicating. By noon, she almost forgets she was ever afraid. That is when she notices the empty chair. It sits across from her, slightly angled toward her desk, the way it always has. But today, no one occupies it. That should not be strange. Except it always has been occupied. By Rhea. Isha frowns. Rhea is never late. She arrives early, sets her bag down carefully, organizes her pens by size without realizing she is doing it. She hums softly while booting up her computer. The chair is empty. Isha checks the time. Almost noon. She opens her messaging app and types Rhea's name. Nothing appears. She deletes and tries again. Still nothing. Her stomach tightens. She searches the company directory. No Rhea. She scrolls through old emails. Threads where Rhea should be included end abruptly. Participants list subtly rearranged to exclude a name Isha is suddenly unsure she ever read. Her pulse begins to race. This is ridiculous, she tells herself. People take sick days. People work remotely. But the feeling will not go away. The chair is wrong. At lunch, she asks casually, Did you see Rhea today? Her coworker looks confused. Who? Isha laughs too quickly. Rhea. She sits over there. The coworker glances at the empty chair. That desk's been empty for months. The words land without drama. That is what makes them devastating. No, Isha says automatically. We. The sentence collapses. She realizes she cannot finish it. Not because the memory is painful, because it is incomplete. The outline of Rhea exists in her mind. A shape, presence. But details slide away when she tries to grasp them. Her laugh becomes brittle. Sorry. Wrong name. The coworker shrugs and returns to eating. Isha sits frozen. The crisis is gone. So is something else. She goes back to her desk and opens her photo gallery. She scrolls slowly. Team lunches. Office parties. Casual selfies taken at odd angles. There is space where another person should be standing. Her arm extended around empty air. A gap in group photos that looks intentional, as if the composition was always meant to be that way. Isha's hands shake. She checks her personal messages. Years of conversations with Rhea are gone. Not deleted, rewritten. Threads continue, but the tone is different. Messages that once carried intimacy now read professionally distant. Plans that should have involved two people reference only one. Her own replies feel wrong, like responses to questions never asked. She leans back in her chair, dizzy. Time did not erase Rhea. It edited her out. The understanding arrives slowly, settling into place with terrible precision. Rhea was not just a co-worker. She was the one who helped Isha through the mistake. The error that triggered the termination email. The late nights. The whispered conversations. The quiet decision to take responsibility together. That connection mattered, which is why it was removed. Time did not correct the mistake by fixing the system. It corrected it by removing the relationship that created the instability. Isha's job remains intact. The crisis has been resolved. The cost has been paid somewhere else. She leaves work early, head pounding, and walks without direction. 3:07, she feels nothing. No pressure. No warning. No sense of wrongness. That is worse than fear. She stops outside a cafe she remembers visiting often. Inside, she takes a seat by the window and stares at her reflection. She looks the same. Intact. Successful. Her life has not collapsed. It has been simplified. Her phone buzzes with a notification. A calendar reminder clears itself. Dinner with Rhea canceled. The event dissolves before her eyes, the text fading as if it never existed. Isha's breath catches. She understands now. The system did not punish her. It optimized her. By removing complexity. By deleting a strand of identity she did not know was load-bearing until it was gone. She sits very still, hands wrapped around a cooling cup of coffee. The crisis that would have ruined her life has been corrected. Her career is safe. Her future is clean. And a relationship that once defined her days has been erased so completely that only she can feel the shape of its absence. Time has edited her life. And the edit is final. The absence behaves like a bruise. Not painful at first. Just tender when touched. Isha discovers this the next morning when she reaches for her phone out of habit and almost types Rhea's name. Her thumb pauses mid-air, hovering over empty space, as if waiting for a suggestion that never arrives. The gesture completes itself anyway. Her phone unlocks. The home screen appears. Nothing else happens. The motion feels wrong in her hand. She tells herself it will pass. Edited lives always look clean after the cut. That is the point. At work, the system continues to cooperate. Her manager praises her initiative. A long-stalled project moves forward without friction. The mistake that once threatened her career no longer appears in any audit trail, any retrospective, any whispered conversation. Time has done excellent work. It has removed the splinter without leaving a scar. Except Isha keeps reaching for things that no longer exist. She sits down at her desk and instinctively angles her chair toward the empty one across from her. She catches herself and straightens, embarrassed at a habit she cannot explain. During a meeting, someone suggests an approach she knows is flawed. She opens her mouth to disagree. Stops. The counterargument dissolves halfway to speech. Not forgotten. Unanchored. She knows she once had a way of thinking through problems that relied on conversation, on friction, on testing ideas against another mind that pushed back at the right moments. That mind is gone. The idea goes unchallenged. The meeting ends quickly, efficiently, wrongly. No one notices. Isha eats lunch alone. This too feels new. Not because she never ate alone before, but because she no longer remembers choosing not to. The cafeteria feels louder than usual. The clatter of trays grates on her nerves. She finishes quickly and returns to her desk, seeking quiet she does not remember needing. Her body has begun adjusting to the edit. 3:07, nothing happens. The silence has weight now. That evening, she goes home and opens her closet. Half the hangers are empty. Not recently removed. Never filled. The clothes she remembers borrowing, sharing, exchanging opinions over are gone. The color palette has narrowed subtly, her wardrobe resolving into something more uniform, more professional, less expressive. She sits on the bed and presses her palms into the mattress. Her apartment feels larger, not because space has increased, because something that once occupied it has been removed. She tries to reconstruct Rhea deliberately. Face, voice, laugh. The effort produces only fragments, like reflections on broken glass. The more she pushes, the more the image degrades, as if her mind has been instructed to let it go. She stops. Her chest tightens with a strange grief that has no narrative to attach itself to. Grief without permission. That night, she dreams of documents being revised, sentences rephrased, paragraphs removed, footnotes relocated to appendices no one reads. She wakes calm. That is the cruelty. Time has not left her in pain. It has left her lighter, more functional, less whole. Days pass. The benefits accumulate. Isha is invited into conversations she was never included in before. Opportunities open cleanly, without the awkward politics that once complicated advancement. Her opinions are taken seriously, unchallenged by the playful skepticism Rhea used to offer. She performs better. She produces cleaner work. She is praised for her clarity. Inside, something flattens. Her emotional range narrows imperceptibly. Decisions come faster now, less entangled with doubt or empathy. She stops asking certain questions because she no longer remembers why they mattered. One afternoon, she catches herself rewriting a junior colleague's work without consulting them. The impulse feels natural, efficient, correct. The colleague thanks her later, relieved. Isha nods, feeling nothing. That night, she stands in front of the bathroom mirror and studies her own face. She looks the same, but the expressions she cycles through feel practiced, as if selected from a reduced set. She tries to smile the way she remembers smiling once. The muscles respond. The feeling does not. At 3:07, the pressure brushes past her lightly. Not correction. Audit. The system is checking the stability of the edit. Satisfied, it moves on. Isha begins noticing non-local effects. Her mother calls and asks casually, "Are you still talking to that friend from work? The one you were close to?" Isha hesitates. The hesitation stretches too long. "I don't think so," she says finally. Her mother hums thoughtfully. "You seem calmer lately." The word lands with unexpected force. Calmer. Yes, that is the outcome. The relationship with Rhea did not just stabilize a project. It introduced volatility, support, challenge, emotional load. Time removed it to protect continuity. Not maliciously, optimally. Isha ends the call and sits in silence. She understands now that the edit was not surgical. It was architectural. By removing Rhea, time has removed an entire mode of being. A version of herself that thought collaboratively, that shared doubt, that resisted isolation. That version no longer fits the optimized structure. She goes back through her journals, hoping for resistance, proof, something that survived the cut. Entries reference long days, exhaustion, pride. They do not reference love. They do not reference dependence. The language has been revised. Her handwriting looks the same. Her voice does not. At work the next week, the project succeeds spectacularly. Her manager celebrates. The team applauds. Promotions are discussed openly. Isha smiles at the right moments. She accepts praise gracefully. Inside, a question flickers and fades before she can articulate it. Would this have happened anyway? The thought is destabilizing. Time has removed the conditions that would allow her to compare. That night, she walks past the cafe she once shared with Rhea. She stops without knowing why. Inside, the table by the window is empty. She sits there and orders coffee she does not particularly want. The chair across from her remains empty. She feels no urge to cry. That finally breaks something. The absence has matured into identity loss. Rhea was not just a relationship. She was a reference point, a mirror that reflected parts of Isha she no longer has access to. By erasing the relationship, time has edited the self that existed in relation to it. Non-local consequences. Not just who is gone, but who Isha is allowed to be. Her phone vibrates. A message from her manager. Great work today. You handled that perfectly. Perfectly. Isha stares at the word. She types a response. Deletes it. Types another. Sends a neutral acknowledgement. She realizes she no longer knows how to share success. There is no one left who expects the unpolished version of her. 3:07, the silence returns. Final. She understands the lesson too late. Time did not correct her mistake by changing the past. Corrected her future by editing her present. The crisis is gone. Her life is stable. Her trajectory is clean. And a relationship that once anchored her sense of self has been removed so completely that only its structural absence remains. Isha finishes her coffee and leaves the cafe. She does not look back. There is nothing there anymore. Time has finished editing, and the document will not be reopened.